so we can talk. So guys, we're just a few people here. I encourage everybody to talk. And I'll tell you a Russian fairy tale, okay? First, we'll start with the Russian fairy tale. And the fairy tale was that there was once a hen, a chicken, that was laying eggs, all right? So it did lay an egg, and it was laying golden eggs, not any eggs. So that's very important. And for some reason, the farmers who owned the chick, they wanted to break an egg. So they tried very hard, they couldn't. That's the important part. They couldn't. And now you can go into the philosophy, because why would they break a golden egg? Not very clear. In any case, the grandpa did it, didn't work. And then grandma did it, and it didn't work. And then finally, the little mouse was passing by, and with its tail, it actually did it, and it broke an egg. Now they were inconsolable, because now that the egg was broken, they were upset. So that is a classical Russian fairy tale, completely abstract and meaningless. But it happened again. So this is what happened, and I'll show you the picture. And the picture will be, not find the picture. All right, without the picture, Microsoft tried it first. You can think of Microsoft as a grandfather, and all opinions are my own, but Microsoft tried to create a control over, information. And what they've done is they changed the order. It used to say Microsoft Word in the screen, and then it was given the document name. So what they've done is genius. They put the Microsoft in the end, and they put the document in front. That was really nothing, of course, just a joke. The boss said that we should do it. Now, Google tried to do something better than this. They tried to create easy AI. And they said, oh, we will democratize AI. Well, the thing is that it didn't work. Here's what Google tried to do. You see my screen, guys? So let's look at what Google did. They created, now let me move it to the window somehow. Okay, now let's go to trends. Google in 2015, they created an open source TensorFlow as an open source library. Okay, so here's TensorFlow. And they said, okay, great idea. What we will do is we will open source that. We will create the hardware, that's TPU, TensorFlow Processing Unit, that will run it. So nobody can beat us. That's our way to the top, because the library will be so popular that everybody will be using that. Now that everybody is using this, so we'll build a computer and we'll sell you that. Now comes PyTorch from Facebook, and well, beats Google. You see what's going on. Now, when I teach this, and I do teach TensorFlow, I teach PyTorch, then it's impressive. You run through the notebook, and it's great. It runs. Everybody's happy. The only problem is that it's hard. It's very complicated. So 2022 comes a little mouse, not such a little mouse. We're talking about Hugging Face, and the evaluation today is 2 billion. And with a little movement of creating a actually usable library, actually manageable library, extremely easy. I'll be showing you examples, and it makes it. So now everybody's using them. Nobody's really using TensorFlow. I joke. No, somebody are. Some people are, and in fact, TensorFlow is inside. PyTorch is also inside, and in fact, you can say, hey, Hugging Face, use TensorFlow or use PyTorch, but on top of that, put your Hugging Face. So if you're using Hugging Face library, everything becomes, I should really do this. So OmniGraffle, okay. Just so that we keep it in perspective. So here it is. So came the grandfather, Microsoft didn't do it. Came the grandmother, couldn't do it. Comes Hugging Face, makes it so easy that you can really put AI into anything you want with just a couple lines. Well, what I will do is just, I treat you guys as friends. I treat you guys as trainers or colleagues. And that's why I'm not doing an official way. I did it at a company, because there I held them by the hands, and even though they were knowledgeable, but Hugging Face was extremely easy, and they could do it without me. Nevertheless, I did a full course. For you guys, I'll just not lie. I will not pretend that anything is hard. It's embarrassingly simple. Now, a long time ago, there was a term, embarrassingly parallel. That meant that you want to process a lot of data, but you have to give it to multiple computers. Can you break your task into multiple pieces? And the answer is yes, if you know how to do it. And if it is so easy that anybody knows, then it's embarrassingly parallel. What Hugging Face did, they made it embarrassingly easy. Or simple. And I will show it to you. That's what they've done. Okay, let's go. Here's their course. And I'll give you that link because it's really a wonderful course. And the truth is that my course is very much copied from them. That's the truth. So I'm giving you the link. I'm putting it here on the chat. And with that, I really give the complete secret away. Here it is. Now, in here, you will see very interesting things. You will see the lectures. You will see the code. You will not be able to run the code here on the page, but you will be able to open it in Colab. Of course, Colab is the Google place where you can run, and you can run for free. So if you just open it in Colab like that, I'm clicking on open in Colab.
It looks like the chat is disabled.
Okay, the chat is disabled. For whom?
Well, for me, I don't know.
If, oh, let me fix it. So first of all, everyone, hi. Everybody should see that.
Yes.
And that's probably because I didn't send it to the right people. So now you get it, right?
Yes.
So it wasn't that the chat was disabled, it was that I was stupid and I didn't push it to you. But you can also reply. Can you do something like, hi?
No, it's disabled.
Oh, so bad. Let's see, where is the setting? Well, okay, you will have to say something, which is just as great. All right, so here is the first link that I gave you. And that was this one. That's the complete course that you can use to run through that and understand everything. But what I really want to show is what is it that you want to understand. Here's what you want to understand. You start with getting yourself a library. The library comes from here comes from Hugging Face. So transformers, you get that. Now, it's bringing in, right now, Google is bringing in this library, showing you the progress. Okay. Now, we want to import one and only object that we need. This is this one. So let's wait till it's done here. And then import pipeline. And this is how you use this pipeline. You're saying, pipeline, I'm going to do sentiment analysis. In other words, is that something positive that he is saying, or is it something negative? It won't be 100% precise, but it will be amazingly close. So, okay, we're getting this object pipeline and we're putting the name of the task. That's what I want to do. I want to do sentiment analysis. And then I'm saying, okay, here's my phrase. It expresses my great expectation of what Hugging Face course will do. And is it positive or negative? What would you guess? Well, it is positive, right? Guys saying something nice. Well, yes, it guessed it. Out of the box, no additional training, no code, and just for fun, in the beginning of my course, I show people how it used to be. I show them that's what you would do in TensorFlow. And it is a long thing. Here, it is just create a pipeline to do sentiment analysis and then apply my classifier. Here you are, and I get the result. Just one more, okay? I want to give it a choice. I want to have a positive statement. I also want a negative statement. There you are. I'm running this. Okay, it ran, and it understood that I've been waiting for Hugging Face course my whole life. It's very positive, 95% positivity, and that I hate this so much is very negative and 99% negativity. Now, when you run this, and I gave you the link, so you can actually click on that link and get into this transformer course. That's where I was, and then I clicked right here. I clicked on open in Colab. Then you will be able to run it yourself, but let's change something. Let's do it milder. I do not enjoy that. Okay, let's run that. Well, not very, very negative. Still didn't get the difference. Well, let's put it like that. That should be positive. Run. Positive. Positive, 99% positive. Okay, great. I'm not going to continue that because really I wanted to show you what I'm bringing to you. So now we're going to, I think I achieved my goal. That's very interesting. That's amazing. You can put this into your code and it's just 2 lines that you need to put. So I think nobody beats that. And that's why there are 2,000 companies using transformers, really using Hugging Face right now. And that includes Facebook itself and Google itself and Microsoft. I think that's it. I think game over. They are a clear winner. But now let's go and let us show some of the slides just so that we'll put everything into perspective. All right. Now, if you have any questions, just ask. So transformers. First of all, the Hugging Face people prepared an enormous amount of tutorials. I showed you the first page. They have this first tutorial introduction into what it can do, but then you need to improve your model. Out of the box, it's smart enough. But how do I give it more knowledge? How do I give it the real information in my area? So for example, I want to add some jargon. The answer is that this is called fine-tuning a pre-trained model. You can add your own office lingo You can add your own way of being sarcastic. Sarcastic is harder, but at least you can try. All of that is not obvious. Up until now, yes, it was obvious. Here, and they will teach you how you can improve the model and make it shine. Then they will tell you how to go deeper, much deeper, and what are the tasks you can do. Like you want to answer questions. Here's the document, dear Hugging Face. Here is my document. Can you tell me what's the most important point in this document? Could you point the dangerous statements or something like that? Yes, it does that. It does this, and again in the 2-3 lines. And so that is what this tutorial will give you. For example, I want to know which are the city names in my text, or people names, or company names. That will do it. And then finally, tutorial number 3, it's not ready, they're working on this, but that is what you see. Hugging Face itself. Okay, before we do it, let's talk about the company. Hugging Face itself started with a game. They wanted to do an application for teenagers who are bored and they want to talk, and nobody wants to talk to them. So here you are, there was an application. They did it in 2017. It wasn't a win. No, it didn't go. People were not interested. And even though I looked into the applications on the phone, there are a few applications, you know, cartoon girls will talk to you, but it is not groundbreaking. So they continued and they made their library better and better, and they improved it to the point that I don't think you can go any further. So if you go then to the website, go to the website of Hugging Face. That link I'm not giving to you, I'm just saying here's Hugging Face CO. Okay, now I'm logged in here, that's why you see my stuff, but I'll show you what they have here. First of all, they have all of the models. So if you want to run one of the existing models for free in the sense that you don't have to train it, it's been trained, and these are the famous very large models, very precise models. You can do it. How many models do they have now? 87,000. That's an amazing number of models, and so they are in fact de facto champion in the models. Nobody has that many models. People can contribute their models and whatever you want to do. Now, you would think it's only text, but no. Here are the tasks that the models can do for you. And that's plus 22 tasks. So it's about 30 different tasks. It includes computer vision. Yes, we said it's doing text. It does audio, and it does a few other things. So that's as far as the models. So they are a GitHub of models, growing at a tremendous speed. Now, the next thing that they have are data sets right there. And you see 13,000 data sets, some of the most popular, some of the most interesting. All right, I think that's a formidable force. Let's go back to the models for a second. Each model comes with a complete description. They call it a card, a model card. That's what they call it here. Here, the complete description of what it is. Now, not every model in the world will be already submitted to Hugging Face, but it's going that way. So if you go into the place where the leading data scientists hang out, and that place is Glue, right here. Glue leaderboard. Let's go there. So whenever you have the best model, you submit it to Glue. They verify that you do get that quality that you claim. And some of these models you will already find on Hugging Face. In other words, well, I want the best possible translator from Chinese. Well, you look it up, it's probably one of the Chinese translators here. Is it already available to include in your code? That's a question. Not all of them are already on Hugging Face, but a few. I looked at the first 6, 3 of them were already on this Hugging Face. All right, now, next step, you use a Hugging Face as a GitHub. Here I am logged in, right? And I can look at what is my stuff there, right here. These are my models. So once I have a model, I will tune it up a little bit better and I will upload it back here. I will show you how much it costs in money and in carbon emission to create and tune a model. So the fact that you can download an existing one and train it just a little more and then upload it back again, I'm sure you understand right away. I don't have to tell you why this is great. All right, with that introduction, I will show you something more practical. So NLP, that's talking about what you can do with NLP. Okay, here are the things you can do. You can classify sentences. Are they grammatically correct? Is this a bot generated junk? Even though today they also will generate some text for you, amazing amount of text. Classify the word. Is it a noun? Is it a person? Is it a location? Generating more text, extracting an answer. Like here is a oil pump description. Can you tell me which acids it especially is prone to? So it will say, oh, that is what it is. Now you see some of those technologies on Google because it often says, here is a summary of what your answer is. But that's Google. What if you want it in your own application? Well, up until now, that was really a feat. Today, you can just borrow a few lines. So that is a hard thing to do, but we're lucky because of the ongoing revolution. Ongoing revolution are transformers. So what are transformers? Maybe you have not heard that word. Let's go back and put that main point. Transformers. Okay, here's what transformers are. You heard about neural networks, right? Everybody heard about neural networks. And in fact, you can see a neural network right here. And that is Playground, TensorFlow. Here is a neural network, right? These are the neurons. That's what you play with until you get the right solution. So you click on this progress and your model is trying to find, you see, it's trying to find a good solution, not finding, oh, found it, okay. So now you can stop that. You can export that model and make it work. So that essentially is what neural networks are. However, that particular neural network has only 4 neurons. And that's very, very limited. You need millions and even billions of neurons today. And for that, you need to do the next step. So your first step was a neural network right here. Neural network. And then it turned out that, well, it doesn't scale. It's not all that good. So they invented a new architecture. That new architecture was called CNN, convolutional neural networks. They worked reasonably well for pictures because they used filters. The brilliant solution of CNN convolutional neural network was that it said, well, I cannot understand millions of pixels, but if I imitate a camera and if I do a filter, well, then I can find my cat that I'm looking for. So it worked. But for texts, it still didn't work. So they invented something else. They invented RNN. Okay, that is another type of neural network. And it worked for texts, more or less. And then came transformers. And transformers, I'll really put them at the next step. So there was this progress, but in 2018, this is where people invented the new architecture, transformers. And that is what I don't go into right now, because Hugging Face has so much packaged it for you that you can just use it. You don't even need to understand what are those great neural networks called transformers are, because they just understand text and you just saw that. All right, let's continue. This is who uses them. And of course, they are on their way to success. You'll see the lectures, you'll see those lecturers. They're very brilliant guys. I really enjoy listening to the lectures. And the major object that you will have to use will be called pipeline. Now, I showed you everything. I could stop myself here, but no, I won't, because here's what I will do. I will give you virtual machines. I prepared them for you right here. Now, in order to use this, you would need to agree on which student are you. Here you are. I will give that to you on our chat. There you are. Now, I know who we have here, so maybe what I will do is I will give you each. I will give you the number. Yeah, my participants. And I will allow you guys to talk. Everybody. There you are. Okay.
Hello.
Yes. Now you can talk. Wonderful. So I wonder if I can copy the names of the people. No. All right. So just listen, okay? Ken, you will be number 1, okay? Keep in mind, there is number 0 here, student 0. So what you will have to do is you're 1, Ken is 1. Emily, you're number 2, right? Fabrizio, 3. Jay, 4. Lubna, 5. Michael, 6. Paul, 7. Pedro, 8. Pravin, 9. Ronaldo. That's Ronaldo. Was I at 9? Yes?
Yeah, I'm 10.
So, okay, Ronaldo, you're 10, right? All right. And Joseph, you are 11. And we have that many machines. What do you do with them? I'll show you what you do with them, but we will not complete the whole thing in the webinar. I'll leave you those machines. They are very powerful machines. It's T2.C5 very large, something like that. So it has quite a few of CPUs. How do you use them? I'll show you how you use them on student 0. That will be mine. Easy to remember. Everybody remembers their number. And so you just look up who you are. I copy that and I put it into the new tab. That's all you do. You put it to the new tab, you get this. Okay. Now, here you do access via plain HTTP. There you are. It says, give me the password. Well, the password is found exactly right there. Right, that's the password. That's the password for 0. So I copied that whole thing, starting with the I.
I cannot copy anything from what you're pasting.
Okay, we'll invent something. But here you are. I just want to show you how you log in. That's how you would log in. That will be your virtual machine. I'm not going to do anything in it right now because I will leave you. I'll run it until, the end of the day. And then I'll probably shut them down because they do cost money. Now let's work on how I can give you a complete list of your machines, who is who. You're saying you cannot copy out of the chat, right?
Yes.
So here's the chat. Now I can, so first of all, Other people, can you copy out of this chat?
No, I can't.
No. Then
Also no.
please do this. I think there are good websites that allow me to paste something and give you the link. So do you remember what are those sites? Anybody? Any
Like
suggestion?
pastebin.com.
Pastebin. Okay, thank you. All right. All right, so let's see. No, I need to do the whole thing. So Pastebin, there you are. Now, how do I give you that link? Create.
You might want to. Oh.
This one, that's what I give you. And that one, even if you cannot copy and paste, you can still type. So I'm putting this into the chat. All right, please tell me if that's helpful.
Got it. But does this depend on, I mean, what if we're on a VPN or what if our IP number changes?
This IP changes? Or the top IP changes?
I think
No.
those are public IPs.
Oh, yes, they are. So if I, for the experience sake, if I copy this, so I copied all of that.
I'm able to copy everything. Okay.
Okay, and then I go into the Firefox where I'm not anybody, not logged in. Okay, and I paste this pastebin they just created. There you are. Then it should show. Then I take that IP, which I already actually took, but I'm now taking it from here just to make sure that it's not winning anything. And I'm going in here and I'm putting this virtual machine, and that's your virtual machine. And then I'm saying, okay, access via plain HTTP, and it wants a password. So I'm going back to the previous tab. That would be my password right here. Right here. And I'm putting this as a password. No, could you do it? Okay. Okay, we ignore the security warning.
Okay. I am able
Okay.
to log in.
Now, why did I give it to you? We have two ways of running Hugging Face because I think I basically explained what it is to you. It's an honest, as they say, honest to God revolution. Now you can play with anything in the NLP area and go further, anything that you want. And with that, I think your curiosity is picked enough that you can run. Now, I also told you that if you go to the Hugging Face as a site, it will contain what they call a tutorial, or they call it a course. They call it a course. So you can actually run through that, and every one of those pages that has code will open also in Colab, and you can run it there. So as a first step, you can just run it there. I did it, here it is. And I was enjoying all of those little tasks. Zero shell classification, okay? And then tags generation. Look, it will blabber. It will give you some gibberish. right? But people enjoy this. There is also an AI program called DALL-E, or DALL-E, and that one generates pictures. I'm not showing you that because I think it's embarrassingly stupid, but it works. And then you can also generate more text, all of that, just one line to do all of that. Let's say you took out a word from the text. Well, you can run it and it will put it back. One of my friends who is a lawyer got very excited. He said, okay, so they redact the word out and I put it back. How wonderful. Yes. And question answering. Here's the question and here is the context in the context in which this question was asked, and boom, you get the answer. All right, that's what it can do, and you can in fact run it here. The thing is that, well, in real life, you don't have a Colab. Colab is not inside your application. So that's why I'm giving you, this is how you would install it. And you would install it on a virtual machine. So that will give you a much deeper appreciation of what you need to do. I will just read it here. I will show you what exactly you will do. That's what you will do. You'll go into it and you will install Anaconda. Now, that's just because I'm lazy. Anaconda will do absolutely everything. I could give some very specific instructions that would work in some environments, not in others. Anaconda takes time. It takes like 5 minutes, but it gives you a full, complete install of Python. So you got Python. Your next step is it will probably confuse Python with Python 3. So what you do is you run this line and it says every time you say Python, it understands you mean Python. And that really is Python 3 that is running. And one more step, you do pip install transformers for Torch. The result of it, you are done. That's it. That is the full install. Now, you want to test it right away. This is how we test it. You're saying Python, send that particular task, and it will come back and it will give you the result. So as the last step, I'm asking you, wasn't that easy? That's it. Now, I'm giving you this link. That is what you will need to play with it, because I'm planning to leave you at a certain point and with your machines, which you can enjoy. And these are virtual machines. Do anything you want with them. But here it is on chat. And here's the lab that I want you to run. So once you run this lab, you will have a complete install and you will be able to run all these things, all those things that you could run on Colab, but now you're running in your environment. You're imitating the situation where you created it for yourself on your virtual machine, and then you can put your application in there and it will run as well. So that was, to me, the essence, and it was great. And as you can see, quite excited about this. But let's talk a bit more. That's why I prepared the slides for you. So pipeline is your main object. That's what you do. You use pipeline, you tell it what you want, it just does it magically. The next thing is, well, exactly how do transformers work? Well, just enough to know that transformers are a special kind of neural network. I think more complex to understand than any other previous network, but I'll give you one good example. Let us say you want to create a, well, let us say programmer assistant, just like the one that Git introduced. I like working with it. It helps me with whatever I write, code, whatever, it knows everything. And that's my pair programming. You're not alone anymore. You're not this lone coder, but instead it works with you. So first of all, it needs to understand, let us say, English, because maybe you're writing some slides or some text, and by the way, it works for that too. So you send it to school. You send it to school, it knows English. Your next step, you need to train it in specific texts. Well, this is fine-tuning. You already have the previous model, one of those, that knows English. Now, you do fine-tuning to get to get additional understanding. So exactly how? How does it work? This is how it works. It reads a billion words, it reads a billion texts, which is not a big deal today, except that you'll have to spend about $50,000 to $100,000 for all of that. And then it keeps training itself. It reads the texts, it takes some of the words out of those texts and tries to guess them and put them in. So it pretends that it is a little bit senile, that it is forgetting words, but then it gets them back. And that makes it very smart. So that is what BERT is. The essence is it is self-supervised training. If you had any kind of machine learning courses before, well, you can throw it out of the window, first of all, because you don't need them anymore. And secondly, you would know that there are two kinds of learning, supervised and unsupervised. And supervised is when you have the answers. Let's say you want to figure out the cost of the house. So you give it the previous houses and how much were they sold for, and then it guesses the new one. This is called supervised. Well, it's very hard to find those labels. It's very hard to find those answers. So that's the problem. Unsupervised is where you don't know anything. You're just saying, give me the plausible model of what it is, but there are no plausible models. You don't know what it is. So usually it is cluster, and cluster is not all that powerful. Now comes self-supervised learning, which would not even be mentioned in any of the machine learning texts today. And it's just doing this. It's sitting in the corner, taking out the words, putting them back in. These are the models, and the latest was a transformer, and BERT was the first famous use of transformers. All right, so these are the years of how that all happened, and these are the latest models, and they can do anything, any task that you need. I'm going quickly through all of that, but you will get an email from us. You'll get a few of those slides. So these are very big models, but that's not the problem because you just download them. You download them from Hugging Face. That's exactly where that resides. All right, now the less costs, it would cost you a lot of money. And so instead of paying it, you just get it for free from somebody. And it will also cost the environment. Now that is already politics and other things that I don't understand, but this calculates how much impact on the environment your computers do. And it turns out that training a state-of-the-art model is just as much as I think a few cars running for their lifetime. So that's awful, right? But we don't do this. No, we download the existing models. That is the story. And so that's why you share those models, right? That's the carbon impact, but on the level of us humans, we just get the right answer. All right, I think that is good enough. Okay, and just trying to, and now I could ask you a question. So you will find all these questions in their course. I won't go through that because you'll find it yourself. You'll be able to ask yourself those questions. In other words, knowledge by now is free. You can find a lot of knowledge for free, as it should be. And here we are. I'll stop sharing the screen and I'll give you a chance to ask something. Stop share. There you are, guys. How did you like it? And what's your next step?
When is the next level?
The next what?
Class. The next class.
All right, next class. You want? You know, I really am thinking about this because we had a Terraform ongoing series. We had it for a few months, and people loved it. They all came to that, and some people were studying at a very inconvenient time. Nevertheless, it did not stop them. So now that you ask this, I'm thinking, yes, maybe we will, and if we do, you'll get the announcement.
I appreciate the overview. It's very nice. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ken.
Yeah, I have one question.
Yes, please.
I've been reading about diffuser models. Do you have any comments on that?
Diffuser models. I think these are the models, stable diffusion, right?
I don't know the detail, but
I think that's the one.
I've heard the term. Yeah.
Stable diffusion. You find those models, and they are famous for doing pictures. You see those pictures, right? That's what they do. You tell it what style you want, and it will do this for you. So on a practical level, we don't need to redo this. The work is already done. These are also some of the transformer models. Well, practically, I try to use it. I'm working on a project where I want to explain concepts with cartoons. No, it doesn't work. It's not on that level at all. My friends from the previous class, they showed me what they've done, and it usually is not what you would want. And there's some nice pictures there, very impressive, but it doesn't do what you really need to do. That was the conclusion. We kept talking with them. How can I use it? Well, other than having fun, they talked about they generate 1,000 different models, and maybe one of them will be okay. So it's back to the same famous question about monkeys, 1,000 monkeys that they keep typing until they do the Merchant of Venice of Shakespeare. No, practically it doesn't work at all because somebody has to read all of those texts and figure out where it's good and where it's bad. That's my opinion. What do you think?
I mean, I don't have a comment, but I just wondered what your view was.
That was our conclusion together with the students, that it's not there at all. And well, that's a big question about, is AI really intelligent? In my personal opinion, I was bothered by that for a long time. Are people around me real, or are they really robots, very well hidden? And today, my opinion is that there's much more in our intelligence, and some of us are even smarter than the others. We cannot deny that. So no, practically, it's not reachable by computers because that's not the right way to go. The right way to go is to take a human. I had a great chance. I was listening to a lecture by the chief Microsoft cloud architect. So he said, I'm really envious of the human brain. It runs on 30 volts of power, and it does miracles that my complete Amazon cloud doesn't do at all. So it could be. You could argue that it's very hard to say something is not doable. But here I'm saying something is not doable. What is that? That is real intelligence through the computer. Well, a very dangerous thing. It's very easy to disprove, and it's not possible to prove. But that's my personal opinion for now.
Yeah, this is a long discussion that we could have.
Yes, it leads to a long discussion, especially if we do a series of those Hugging Face. Maybe we'll have the time to discuss that.
What do you recommend as our next step, given that the course is not available right now? If we're going to do self-study, what do you recommend? Maybe going through the Transformers stuff and Hugging Faces.
Exactly. Yes, I'll tell you, the thing is that I did not invent anything. I have to shamefacedly admit that I just took their course and converted it into slides. And here it is. That is what they call the course. So if I take away everything else, okay, and then I go into the documentation, and here is the course right here, then that is the only link that you need. You can do complete self-study. It's just that it is more fun together in a circle of interested friends. But here's the link, which is really the only one that we need. Putting it on the chat, right here. and saying self-study. Here's the link. That was your question, correct?
Yeah, so today we have access to these
So what
VMs.
do you
So
have? First of all, yes, you have all of the open course and knowledge on Hugging Face. You have the virtual machines. You know, I'll tell you what it costs. Here it is. This is T2 dot. $2x, right? 2x. Yes. You see, 37 cents an hour. Well, given that we're running 12 machines, I'm not going to run it for years. But at least it's all yours until tonight. All of the labs work. These ones that I showed you, these ones, the install and on, I'm giving you that link again. Here in the chat. I verified them many times, and so I know they all work. On Ubuntu, exactly those machines where you are. All right, so it was a pleasure, really enjoyed it. Well,
Thank you, Mark.
yeah,
Thank you very much.
thank you.
you're
Thank you
very
very
welcome,
much.
guys. And tell me what the results were. Tell me how far did you get?
I have a question.
Yes,
So
please.
maybe I have like a couple minutes.
Yes.
Yeah, I had my hand. I raised my hand, but I guess it didn't show. But anyways, yeah, I come from back-end engineering background,
Okay.
and I know like nowadays there's a lot of movement towards machine learning engineering,
Yes.
and it's kind of like, I guess, mixed with the role of like big data scientist to machine learning scientist to like machine learning engineer, like someone who actually creates the model, and then there's someone who actually does the engineering work. And so
Yes.
it's very mixed. So what would be the best way to, like, I guess what's trending in the machine learning world? Or you know, I know there's also other words like AI and like deep learning. So where are we exactly in the market in terms of like the job trend, and where do you see it going in the future?
That is a great question. So the most important is this. It is called AI ops. What this means, and one S, not two. What this means is that anybody can run a little notebook on Hugging Face. Anybody can run through Colab. But when you go and apply it, then you need to know how to do it. So that is why, by the way, I'm giving the people a real virtual machine environment where I run Python. And the very first lab, I explained why I don't do Python notebook, because notebooks are not the way in production. They are fun, they are good for teaching, but they don't really deploy very well at all. So the word today is AI ops. Let data scientists be data scientists. Let the machine learning experts be machine learning experts. That's a very specialized thing. I don't think most of the people need to learn it, especially now that you have Hugging Face. But instead, you need to go through their tutorial or my tutorial, meaning my labs, where I do the same thing, but in a Python code on the command line. So since you see my screen, what I do is this. Here is my machine. Where is it? Well, let's say I take that machine, log in, and then I'm not running a notebook. I'm running Python. I'm saying Python. And then I'm putting all of the fragments of the code one at a time, and I observe how that works. I know that exactly is what I will put into production. And practically what you can do is, first of all, go through some of the course, especially those parts that attract you. But then the next step is go to this particular blog. This is Phil Schmidt, opening it for you here, and giving you, by the way, stable diffusion. So I'll start from this. I'm giving you that link. Philip Schmidt lives in Germany. He is 25, brilliant, and he works for Hugging Face. So he has a whole long series of blog posts. Implement these. It tells you how to do this. So after you know enough about Hugging Face, you can go and keep implementing this. Then put it on your resume. Say, I've implemented these use cases. And I think anybody will grab you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah,
And good luck, because it does mean a lot of work, but no pain, no gain, right?
Yeah, I think that's a good starter. Yeah, I always wanted to do machine learning and that sort of stuff, but never really had the chance. I've always been doing back end, and so I'm kind of trying to understand how I can go towards more into machine
That
learning.
belongs to the back end. And you live in good times, because with Hugging Face, it is possible. Up until now, not really. I'll tell you a bit about my own project. I'm working on a project that will be a system for legal defenders. So those people who are assigned by the government to protect the common folk in the street. And we download the videos from police cameras, and that's what the lawyers get. But right away, I can use this Hugging Face. I'm going to make a text out of the video, so the lawyers don't have to work too hard. And I will also create a summary, which is also doable with Hugging Face. That belongs to the back end. So I get the code, grab the link, run it through a speech to text, and then summarize and give it to the lawyers. So they are practical right away with Hugging Face, all doable.
Do you think that learning how to use the Hugging Face library would be good enough, or do you think it's also important to understand how they implemented the library, like the inside of it, like the infrastructure and things like that?
Only the general understanding. That's a great question. But you see, many courses teach you how to understand what's inside, just because, well, people like teaching you that, but you don't need it. And don't be scared of all those complicated things. There's an emphasis with the teachers to do this. But I don't think that should be. Strange thing, I like math, but today I don't recommend learning it. Only for pleasure.
Oh, really?
Yes. Okay, I hope that makes sense, and I hope we'll continue. Okay, everybody is welcome to they have my email, I hope. I'll give you my email. So if you have any more questions, you're very welcome. It's mark@l. All right, so came out a little bit longer than we expected, but thank you very much, everybody. I'm sure it was worth it.
Yes, thank you. Bye-bye.
Hey, all right, be well, everybody.
Thank you.
Very much. Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Goodbye.